Hello cherry lovers, today I'm going to be showing you how to make 4, maybe 5 different cookie recipes that you will have such a fun time making them with your children or your grandchildren. And even if you're not making it with them, you will have a blast making them, because I did. Hello cherry lovers, the very first cookie I'm going to make right now is called the bunny rabbit cookie. Now, I have a recipe online for my sugar cookie recipe, and it is to die for. So I've already made up the batch of cookies. So if you would like to see this recipe, if you want to use this one, or you can use your own, I will leave it in the caption above. But I've just taken the cookie dough out. It's nice and hard. You don't want it to be too soft, so leave it in your refrigerator until you're ready to use it. Now I made a ball just big enough to cup in the middle of my hand. And all you're going to do, you want to make sure that's a good ball. And the first thing we're going to do with this ball is take our knife and cut it in half, because each half is going to make our little bunny rabbit cookie. Okay, we're just going to start rolling it right here. Now what I've done here, I put 2 little spots of flour. It's about 8 inches apart. So you just want to kind of roll that until it reaches about that area. It doesn't have to be perfect in the length. You just try to keep the rope here, the bunny rabbit rope, I call it, about even in its width all the way through. Okay, then the next thing you're going to do is pick it up, loop it up like that. Very simple. And then you're going to take this bottom part and fold it up and then turn these around like that. And as you can see, my rabbit ears are kind of crooked, but that's okay. But the next thing you want to do, I have some melted chocolate here. It's only about a tablespoon of chocolate. You won't need more than that, because all you're going to do is dip it in the chocolate, and we're going to roll these up. And you put one dip for that eye, dip it back in the chocolate, because you have to dip it back in there. If you don't, it won't be enough. Make the next eye, dip it in again, and you're going to put that about right there to make the mouth. If you don't get it fully covered, it's okay. You can always dip it back in the chocolate. Make sure you don't have a drip, because you don't want to drip any chocolate on any other parts of the rabbit. Okay, and that's the first one. We're going to put him over here, and then we're going to try the other half that we used. Let's roll that out. Make sure I get the chocolate off my hands. Just roll it out. Try to keep it between the flower spots. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect, but try to keep the size of the rope. And I have the tendency to get one side a little bit thicker, but that's okay. Then fold your rabbit up, fold it again, and twist it to the sides. And you can point your rabbit ears any way you like. Bring your face down a little bit, and then again, I'm just using a toothpick dipped in chocolate. And this chocolate has been sitting here for a few minutes, so it's not going to harden anytime soon. You make an eye, dip it again, because for some reason, the toothpick only takes very little chocolate. As you can see, I can see that part. So if it looks like you need a little more chocolate, so be it. And then make your nose. As you can see, I got a little dab there, but that's okay. Could even be whiskers. All right, there's your second bunny rabbit cookie. And the next cookie we're going to make is the flour cookie, so hang in there. Okay, the next cookie that we're going to make is the flour cookie. Now this one you can do a lot of different things with, as you'll see after we put it together. The first thing we're going to do, in this cup you can see parts of it I've already made, but you're going to take some of your cookie dough, and you're going to take your teaspoon measurer and just about roughly eyeball it for a teaspoon. You're going to roll the ball up. And you're going to need 6 of these. So we're going to do one more, and then I'm going to show you how to do the color. There's a chocolate one there. That's the one that's going to be in the center. So you want to just make sure that's about a teaspoon. They don't have to be exactly perfect, but there's another little ball. Now we're going to take another ball and put it in there. Take some off if it's a little too much. Okay, we got one. We want to make 2 depending on how many cookies you want to make. I'm making a variety of different ones, but it's up to you. I'm going to make 2 of the chocolate balls. So what we need here, we got 2 of the chocolate balls. We're going to roll them together, kind of flatten them out. Occasionally, you'll need to put a little bit of flour on your board. And you want to take a 1/4 teaspoon. This is just cocoa powder. And I put in this little cup here 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder. You want to take that 1/4 teaspoon of cocoa powder and just mix it all up in there. That's how I got the brown. And you will base it on, you're going to use a 1/4 teaspoon at a time. And how dark it gets depends on how much dough you use. So we're going to use, that's not dark enough. We're going to try to get it to this color. That's the color we're trying to get to. That's the center. And so we just put another 1/4 teaspoon and mash it up. Roll it around to get it all mixed up until you get to the desired color that you want, preferably a little darker because the outside of the flour is going to be this color. So you want the middle to show up very nicely. So now that I've got that, we're going to pull that apart, measure the teaspoon because again, we need 2 of these, so we need a little bit more. Let's see, that's good enough. Put another one in there, and that's good enough. So we're just going to roll that up into a ball. And we're going to roll this one up into a ball. So now we have our center pieces and we have our outside pieces. The way you assemble these, take your center chocolate and put it dead center. You're going to have 6 of these, as I said, on the outside. So cool. Grandkids will love doing this. So much fun. And the next thing you're going to do is with your toothpick, just take your toothpick and indent. And you won't do it perfectly, and neither will your grandkids. But now here's the thing. You've got those all connected. When you pick this up, you'll put it on your baking sheet and it will bake just that way. Now, this is our flour cookie. The next cookie we're going to do is the button cookie. So stay tuned. Okay, cherry lovers. Now, the next one, as I said, we're going to make button cookies. All you want to do is get you a nice big ball. It doesn't really matter what size. Make sure you put a little flour because as it gets softer, it's going to start to stick more. But you can place that down, roll it out. You don't need it to be very thin, but you don't want it to be too thick. So you want to make it probably about 1/8 of an inch thick. And then you're going to make a circle the size, about this size. This I think is measured 2 inches. And then you're going to make another one. Pull this off. I'm going to set those over there. And then I'm going to roll this out again. These are called button cookies, but these are going to be a pretty good size button cookies. I have the 4 holes and I have the 2 holes. Again, it doesn't really matter how much you put on there. Just don't get it too thin. And try to remember to continually put some flour down so it won't stick. I think we're going to just do the 3 out of here. And after you make these up, and you'll see them on the pans, after you make these up, you won't make the buttonholes until after they've cooked because they will close up if you make them now when you bake them in the oven. So I'll show you how to do that shortly, but we're going to move on to the very last cookie here, and the last one is called the Jolly Rancher cookie, so stay tuned. Okay, now this next cookie, which is our last cookie, is going to be our Jolly Rancher cookies. And let me tell you, these are delicious. So what we're going to do, we're going to put a little flour on our board because this will start to stick. And kind of flatten that out. Roll that out. You can make these the same thickness. You don't want them to get, this needs some flour on it. You don't want them to get too thin, but you don't want them too thick either because they don't cook well. Take a longer time to cook. Now we're going to just do this one at a time. But what I want you to see here, We got a little snowman here. And then with the snowman, we use this top here. Once you take that out, and then you want to just remove this. And this is just a bottle top from a Pepsi bottle. Larry loves Pepsi, so he drinks that. But anyway, you take the bottle top, put it in the bottom, you remove that, take your toothpick, and you remove that. Now, the next thing you're going to do, I have this pan here. You can actually make the whole pan in your Jolly Rancher cookies, or you can make the whole pan for whatever it is you want to make it in. But the next thing we're going to do here is make our other cookie. We're going to use the Christmas tree this time. Put some more flour down because I'm going to show you how to do a couple of them at a time. Now we're just going to flatten that back down, and that's sticking, so I'm going to have to put a little more flour on here and a little more on here. I'm not using my rolling pin because I'm just using a smaller spot. Now the next thing we're going to do is put our Christmas tree on there. Press that down. Twist it just a little to bring that out. And then we're going to just pull that off. And then we're going to take our bottle top, press it closer to the bottom, press it down, turn, and lift. And we're going to take our toothpick and remove that centerpiece. Okay, then we're going to put the cookie piece onto the tray. Now, you might be wondering, well, why isn't she putting the center in there right now? I'm going to tell you why. Because this candy, now I've got one. These, if you let them sit even for 2 minutes, they will actually stick together. But it's okay because all you need is a fork. And this is how I've been doing it for a while now. Just break it up with your fork or your knife or whatever utensil you're using to get it to crumble back up. Now let me just say this. I'm going to show you how to make the crumbles in just a second. Okay, the next step that I wanted to show you is with the candies here. As you can see, they're all crumbled up, and like I said, if you let them sit for even a couple of minutes, they will stick together, but they come apart so easily. What I want to show you how to do is how to crumble your Jolly Ranchers. It's very simple. Now, what I did was, I got some wax paper here. And this is important. Don't use just the thin layers. Fold that over, fold it again, and fold it again. And then this time when you fold it, you're going to stick your Jolly Rancher right there. And you want to get a towel. And don't use just one layer. Fold it in half and stick that Jolly Rancher in the wax paper right there. Now what I'm using is a meat tenderizer. It's very clean. Now one side has these teeth, but this will tear the paper. It'll tear anyway, maybe a little bit, but just remember, don't use this side. And all you do is, don't hit your finger. And it's about 6 times. Open it up. And voila. So what you want to do then, you might have a few big pieces. That's okay. I'll set that aside. Set those pieces out here. But there's your crumbled up pieces. Now, as you can see, I have red, which is, I'm using watermelon. You can use cherry, you can use apple, whatever flavors you want. Now, I've watched the other videos, and the one thing that I didn't like, they used a whole piece of Jolly Rancher. I didn't care for that because it was too hard to bite into. So, when you crush these up, make sure that you spread it out. You want to get the pieces completely covered. And you want to do it on the wax paper or on your parchment paper. This is not wax paper on this tray. This is parchment paper on my tray. And you just make sure you get every spot covered. That's all you want to do. And while you are making the cookies, probably the best thing to do is at the very beginning, preheat your oven to 375. My oven is already preheated. I should have said that at the beginning. But just remember, you want to cover up all of your pieces. And even if you ground this right to powder, that's perfectly okay. But the main thing is to remember is when you put your candy in there, cover all the spots. Don't leave anything uncovered. You want to make sure that the stained glass look completely covers it. Okay, now the next thing you're going to do is take all your cookies, because I've got the flour cookies, the bunny rabbit cookies, and the button cookies. We're going to put them all in the oven at the same time. You only have to let these cook now from 6 to 8 minutes. Now, after 6 minutes, they may look like they're not done. But let me just say this. Delete the 8 minutes. 8 minutes is too long. 6 minutes. After 6 minutes, pull them out of the oven. Again, they may look like they're not done, but they are. You don't want them to be too hard. So we're going to put these in the oven at 375 for 6 minutes, and I'll be right back. Okay, the timer is running, and it's time to take them out. We're going to bring them over here and sit them on this board and let them cool. These right here are going to be the button cookies, but you have to let the button cookies completely dry before you can poke the holes out of them. So we're going to give them about at least 5 to 10 minutes to completely cool. I said dry, I meant completely cool. And as you can see, the center of these are melted, completely melted. And the flowers turned out beautiful, and the rabbits also. They do look, if you're looking at these, they look like they are not done, but I promise you, they are completely done. So I'm gonna let these cool for about 5 or 10 minutes, and I'll be right back. Okay, guys, now these cookies have only been cooling for about 3 minutes. The one thing I wanted to show you is with the button cookies. You don't want them to cool too long, because when they get too cooled, sometimes they will crack when you're trying to put the buttonholes in. So what we're going to do here is after about 3 minutes, and I'm using a metal straw. That's what you need, a straw. You can use a plastic straw too. That's fine. And you want to put it down in there and turn. Put it down in there and turn. Put it down in there and turn. Now, you can make 4 buttons, or you can make the 2 buttonhole. And I'm going to show you a really neat trick if you're using the 2 buttonholes. But we got to give this a chance to completely cool. So you have your 2 buttonholes and you have your 4 buttonholes. You can use either or. Just have a great time with your children or grandchildren. Let them design them any way they want. It is so much fun. I mean, you're just going to have a blast doing this with the children. And another thing I wanted to show you here, with the trees, now that you've got the Jolly Rancher in the center, try to remember after about 3 or 4 minutes, slide them over so that they don't stick. Just slide them gently. They shouldn't stick too hard, but don't let them stay there for the full 5 to 10 minutes. Slide them over. And you can decorate your Christmas trees with any colors you like. You can use gel. You can use food coloring, whatever your preference is to decorate these. But I do want to show you what I'm going to do with these little button cookies. It's just really cute, and I'll show you at the end. But one other thing I wanted to mention, I'm looking here at the different sizes of the cookies. Now, the Jolly Rancher cookie, the button cookies, they seem to have cooked evenly. But I noticed that the rabbit cookies got a little more volume to it, so it seems to me it could have taken 1 more minute. So one thing I want to remind you to do, remember, put all your Christmas tree, Jolly Rancher, or whatever shape you're using, the Jolly Ranchers and your button cookies on the same tray. They can go on the same tray. But your bunny rabbits and your flowers, put them on the same tray. That'll be fine. But give them an extra minute. Instead of 6 minutes for your bunny rabbits and your flowers, give them 7 minutes. Do not go over 7 minutes because they will get too hard. And I'll be back in a minute to show you a cute little trick with the buttons. Okay, I decided to show you one more cookie. This one is kind of cool too. I've got me a little piece of dough here. Add the rest of my flour on my board. And we're just going to press that down. As you can look on this tray, my baking sheet, I've got 3 little different ones. We made these already, but we got these 3 little different ones. I want to show you how to do that design, and then we will pop them in the oven and let you see how I make the buttonholes in those. Now, what I'm using here is a little dessert cup. In other words, I'm using a little smaller size for these buttons. These are also a little smaller than the ones I showed you prior. But also I want to show you here, this is a shot glass. We're using the bottom. I have a lot of shot glasses that my son collects, and it's in my china cabinet. But this is a smooth bottom. You want one that's a flat bottom. A lot of those shot glasses are indented, and the indented one will not work. So you want to get a shot glass that has a smooth bottom. Take your little smaller size cookie cutter. It's round, and then you take this shot glass. You want to place it in the center. You don't want to have it off center and one side is bigger than the other. So you want to try and get it dead center. It's probably not going to be perfect, but you want to try to get it as center as you can, and simply press down. Indent it in pretty good, and then peel off the top. And then this one is just like these other 3. But now that we have those smaller sizes, I want to show you what these look like when you make buttons out of them. They are really, really awesome Christmas presents. Stay tuned. Okay, guys, real quick, I want to show you how to poke the buttonholes into the smaller cookies that I use the shot glass with. Very easy. You might want to hold on to them. Okay. Isn't that cool? Your grandkids or children will love it. And then you can just continue to do these. As I said, you can do 4 holes or you can poke 2. Make sure that you remember to do these. Let's slide this down a little bit. No more than 3 minutes after they've cooled down. And just turn your straw a little bit. And again, you can use the plastic straws. So now we've got that done. I just wanted to show you the difference with the shot glass. If you make that center in there and you press down, you get a slightly different look, and it looks like a real button, which they all look like real buttons, but this one looks more realistic. But I'm going to show you how to put these together with ribbon, and they're just so cool. So just stay tuned. Okay, guys, this is the final stretch. Now I want you to take a look in here. These are for the button cookies, but I also want you to see here. Beautiful button cookies. And also you can do any type of design that you like. We've got a little smaller cookie, so you can make any shapes and sizes, whatever you like. We've got a little smaller cookie on top of that stack. But what I want to show you here is how to assemble your button cookies. And it's so easy. Remember, you have to let these completely cool and simply put your string, and you can use any kind of ribbon. You can use red, green, and yellow, whatever colors you like, whatever colors your grandchildren like, whatever colors your children like. They can pick whichever ones they want. And you simply stick the ribbon or the string, as you can see, this is just a black and white string there, and make sure when you pull it through, your sides are matching so that you can reach your string through the next side, and it'll all be evenly. Very simple, very easy. And try to keep them straight as you are doing it. And we'll do this one. And then you will put this one through. There we go. And then the last one, just want to insert it through there. Pull it through. And then do the other side. And pull it through. Now, we just even those up. We tie that. Don't tie it tight. You don't want to break your cookies. Just tie it snug against your cookies. And then make you a bow. And you can cut this any way you like. You can let the ribbon hang. You can curl the ribbon with your scissors, however you would like to do that. It's perfectly fine. It doesn't matter. Whatever your grandchildren or your children choose, have fun with it. I actually have fun doing this. Now, if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And also remember, if you want to use my sugar cookie recipe, which is awesome. I mean, I've tried a lot of sugar cookie recipes, and none can match this one. But just remember, the sugar cookie recipe is going to be listed above in the iCard. Thanks for watching, guys.